my first question is, what exactly is an emotion? Okay, so basically what we say is कि I'm feeling this way, ठीक है? So is that emotion a result of something that is changing in our environment, or is that emotion something that is just generated within ourselves by our own thinking? Like, is it triggered by the environment, the external factors, or is an emotion a result of just our internal well-being?
Let me turn that around for you, because I think the answer lies in your question in itself.
Okay.
If you could think of the last time you felt an extreme emotion, or an emotion to quite a bit of an intensity, what would you say? Where was the trigger, or where were the sources of these emotions?
I would say today only, as I just met a very close friend of mine, and I met her after 2 months. So I just felt an immense amount of adoration and love. So I guess that today was the time, the recent times when I felt an intense amount of emotion.
Right, right. So where do you see the source of this emotion coming from? Would you say it's coming from the external world or the inner world?
Well, it's obviously the external world in this case. Okay.
But what about, if you were to meet anybody else, would you have the same kind of emotion?
Not necessarily.
Right. So perhaps it's also got something to do with how internally I feel about this person. What are my thoughts about this relationship? What are my values? Do I, as a person, as a human being, value connection in the first place?
Right.
Do I value this relationship in the first place? So I think in that question that you asked very beautifully, that is the definition of emotions in itself.
Okay.
It's an integrated response to external and internal stimuli.
Wow.
So it could either be from our external worlds or be from our internal worlds itself. Sometimes we're just sitting, not doing anything, but a certain memory comes up in our head, or a certain thought gets seeded in our head. And even that leads to emotions, right? If I'm thinking of, say, a time when I felt I could step out of the house, which I can't anymore as easily, perhaps I feel a little sad. So that's my internal world leading to an emotion.
Right.
Versus, just the simple fact that I can't step out anymore because of the pandemic, how the virus makes me feel. That is my external world triggering some emotions in me.
Right.
So it is a combination of both at all times.
Right. And where do you think that a psychologist like you steps in this whole scenario, when there is such a flush of emotions in us? Where do you think a psychologist should step in?
When you say where, very interestingly, I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday, and we were talking. She's also a therapist, and we were both talking about how a therapist's job really is to help our inner selves attune to the outer world.
Okay.
And so, say for example, during the pandemic, we've had a lot of people come to us talk about how they're grieving, how they're really angry, that they, cannot do the things that they wish to do, how they're in mourning, they feel helpless. It's really intense and very varying emotions that came up for them. And throughout the narrative that we've been taught to believe, we've been served on a platter, is that emotions are not good for us. So anger is not good.
Good for us.
Sadness, especially, emotions which are a little difficult to manage for our own selves or the people around us. Even the people around us don't know what to do if I get angry or if I get sad. So the immediate response is, don't get angry. रोते नहीं हैं, गुस्सा नहीं करते, and it gets taught to us in a very subtle way, saying good kids don't cry, good people don't get angry, right? So we were just talking about this, and I realized that there are certain theories, there are certain models which talk about how important emotions are for us, no matter how difficult, no matter how challenging they might be. So happiness is the most pleasurable emotion, but
Okay.
that might not be the emotion that we want to feel at all times, right? Because it's not, if I'm feeling happiness when, say, I've experienced loss, then that's perhaps not in tune with my reality.
Right.
Right. So I think a therapist really steps in at the intersection of the inner and outer world, where we're really trying to attune yourself. So to all my clients, I've been telling them that an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal. Right. So you showing intense grief, you showing intense anger is very, very normal right now. In fact, it's very required, because if we don't express it right now, it gets stored in our bodies, and then there's, like, a set of theories for that as well. But really what we need to do is express it at the moment in ways which are adaptive. I'm
Right.
not saying if you're feeling very angry, go around throw things, but can I acknowledge my anger and then address it in a way which is more healthy for my environment, for myself.
Right. How do I put a finger that the emotion that I'm feeling right now is an emotion, it's a pleasurable emotion, like it's happiness, or is it anxiety? Because I have no idea how anxiety feels. Okay. I have
Mm-hmm.
no idea about that. Or is it anger, or is it just frustration, or is it just that I am physically tired? That's why I'm just feeling a bit lethargic and I don't want to talk to anyone right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I put a finger on a particular emotion that what I'm feeling right now?
So one thing that you also highlighted in your question is how our body gives us cues sometimes of our feelings, and that can get very tricky because our autonomic nervous system uh, acts in similar ways in different emotions.
Right.
So our heartbeat rises up even in anger, and even in love,
Right.
and even in anxiety. Right. So if my bodily, my physiological, my biological cues are all I have, then perhaps it might get very difficult for me to make sense of my emotions. But luckily, we also have other sources that we can look, we can turn to. And really, in therapy, what we do is we do it in a very methodical way. So almost like, when we do research, we collect data and then we try to make sense of that data. In a very similar way, we collect data in therapy as well. So we'll see, if today, by the end of the day, I went to sleep feeling a certain way,
Right.
what are some of the things that happened throughout the day? And then over the course of time, we look at patterns. Are there certain people that I'm feeling this emotion around very frequently? Are there certain situations that make me feel this way? Right.
Right.
And we go and we dig deeper into what is it about this person, this relationship, this context, this physical context, or even like a virtual context these days, that triggers those emotions in me.
Yeah.
We take it step by step, go deeper in therapy, and then explore these emotions that way.
Right. So one thing you talked about just now was the connection between body and mind. Yeah, but so basically कि मुझे जब डर लगा तो मेरे माइंड ने मेरे हार्ट बीट को रेज किया. Basically my mind instructed my body to react a certain way.
Right.
But can, with movements like with dance or with exercise, can my body actually send a response to the mind कि ठीक है, calm the fuck down?
Yeah, definitely. I think what you're bringing out is a very, very well researched technique. It's for phobias, especially because you're talking about fear. So it's called exposure therapy, in vivo exposure therapy. And what we really do in that is we create a hierarchy of your fears. So if I'm scared of snakes, for example, so the hierarchy would look, and it's different for different people, but the hierarchy would look something like, step one is just looking at a picture, just thinking about snakes. Step two would be just looking at a picture of snakes. Step three would be having a snake somewhere far away from me, but in the same room. Right? And so on, we create a gradation, and the last step would be touching the snake. But all throughout, what we do is not, acha snake dekh liya, chalo, ho gaya. Now you've been exposed, now you don't have fear. We use muscle relaxation techniques, breathing techniques, to, do the reverse thing, where our body is telling our minds that, it's okay. This is not a dangerous stimulus. It's okay for us to be around them. So we calm our autonomic nervous systems down. We calm our breath. We calm our body to go the other way around. So yes, what you're saying, that also happens. It's very, very much possible also.